Good morning, class. Okay, I'm going to pretend like you guys said good morning back to me. Really big and wonderful the way I enjoy it, the way every class starts. But just in case you didn't, let's try it one more time. Good morning, class. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So this feels a little weird for me. I've never done this before, but honestly, I just didn't know what else to do. I couldn't be there today, and I thought today's class is very important. We're starting a big project that I've talked to you guys about ever since we came back from Christmas. I'm really excited about it. Miss Brooks Gordon and I have wanted to work together on a project such as this for over a year, and we are very fortunate to have her with us with her experience, her expertise, which she will share with you later when you get a chance to talk to her. But to me, this is big. I know you guys are going to do great, and I was hoping by making this video I could properly get class started the way I did yesterday for our groups. And I thought class went really well for those groups, and I want you guys to have the same advantages. I don't want you to get behind in any way. Alright, well, before we can begin class, just a reminder, today final drafts are due for your Living Links paper. Many of you have already emailed them to me, and that's wonderful. I appreciate that. You know how I feel about being green, and that's where we can save paper, and I do appreciate that. If you have emailed that to me, I should have responded back to you in an email. You need to check your email box to see if there's anything left to do or if it has been approved. Some of you have gotten a little bit behind, and if you have, it's different for each person. It's on a personal case-by-case scenario, but if for some reason you've got behind, you need to email me. You need to come to me before school, after school, talk to me so we can work out what it is you need to do to get back on track. This Living Links grade is the largest grade you have from me this 9 weeks. It counts 4 times, and next Thursday is the end of the 9 weeks grading period, so you really need to make sure that you get this paper in. A 0 on this will ruin your whole 9 weeks, and that'd be a shame for that to happen. I also want to remind you about sending our reports. Yes, they were due last week, but several people still haven't done them, and if you're one of those people, even though that's not a huge test grade, that's still an important grade. You have to get it done, and you're going to have a 0 on that report card if you don't get it done. I've been happy with the reports that we've had posted on CNN. I'm really hoping that they will choose one of them to use on the air. That'd be awesome. But I'm proud of you regardless if they choose one of ours or not, because they've been really good. So also get those done, get them in. Alright. As I said, we have a special guest today. Miss Brooks Gordon is here. We also have a special guest, our substitute, Mr. Tommy Carpenter. Hi, Mr. Carpenter. I hope you're doing well. I've known Mr. Carpenter for the last few years, and he's been a great guy to work with, and I'm sure you'll enjoy working with him today. Before we get started with Miss Brooks Gordon, we need to separate into teams, and I asked Alex Birch in the morning class to go ahead and get you guys separated into teams, and I also asked Maddie McCrary and Caleb Crawford in the second class if they could get things started. So right now I'm going to just take a pause. You guys need to pause me, I guess, since I'm a video for you today. So you guys need to hit pause on me. Alright? Then you need to advance the slides until you see the slides for your group, A group or B group. Look at the chart and see which team you're in, which role you are, and you need to move around the room. There's 4 stations now, each station except for 1 to 4 legal teams, and you need to get in your station and make sure you write down which trial you're arguing and which role you have. Alright, so hit pause, go do that. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully you are now in the correct teams and you know your roles, you know your arguments. There will be two arguments up for debate during our mock trial. One is the topic of, does slavery or indentured servants still exist in the modern world? And slavery and indentured servants are two different things, but when we study the slave trade, we also study indentured servants. So the team led with the lead speaker Gloria Mehoot, who's arguing that slavery does still exist, that team has to make a choice. They can make a choice to argue either slavery does still exist or indentured servants still exist. I don't care which one, but after they get their first day of research in, they're going to have to make that decision so they can let the opposing team know which they're arguing against, if they're arguing against slavery or if they're arguing against indentured servants, because they're two different things. And when Miss Brooks Gordon talks to you today, she's going to explain to you the difference between slavery and indentured servants. She did a great job with that yesterday, and I'm going to ask her to do that again today. The second argument, if you're one of the other teams, is, does imperialism still exist today? During the Explorer unit, we've looked at world exploration, how it led to imperialism, mercantilism. You guys know a lot about imperialism now, and your challenge is to argue if you think it still exists. If you're on Nicole Papa's team, or if you're on Alex Birch's team, you're arguing no, imperialism does not exist in the modern world. That will be your topics. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to look at your roles, and whenever I am done with this video, whoever's leading the PowerPoint is welcome to scroll further into the PowerPoint, and on the slides, what I'm going to tell you most of it's outlined on the slides, so you can see it visually as well if you need to. And I've emailed all this PowerPoint to you, so y'all have access to it through your email, so you can look at it later. But in a legal team, just like a sports team or any team, everybody has to know their roles for you to be successful. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about each role in your team. First off, some of you may be asking, why did Mr. Hamby choose this role for me? Well, the answer is, in the beginning of the year, if you remember, I had you all fill out a little 3x5 index card about what you like to do, what you think your strengths are, your weaknesses are, what kind of working environment you like to have. And then Ms. Chavers had you fill out a personality test, whether you're a squiggle, a triangle, square. I put all this information into a database at the beginning of the year, and when I want to make teams really even and really strong, I can pull up that database and I can go through and compare the different data to make sure that all these teams are really balanced and really strong. You guys have done a great job this year when I've let you pick your own teams, but because this project is so important to me and I think has potential to be such a rich experience, I want to make sure every team is as strong as possible. So that's why I picked these teams myself. Okay, so lead speaker. If you're the lead speaker, you'll be the primary presenter of the argument for your team. That means you'll probably be talking the most to the judge and to the jury. You will most likely deliver the opening statement to the court and the closing argument to the jury. And those are two very important things that often win or lose a trial. You'll have to work very closely with your head script writer. The person who's your head writer is going to write that opening statement. They're going to write that closing argument. They're going to give it to you. And you got to read it. And you've all got great writers, but it may not be in a style that you're comfortable speaking. So you have to work close with them and look at what they wrote and say, yes, that's good. Can we switch this? Yeah, this is good, 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 good. Okay, let's make these revisions and try this. Great speakers like Barack Obama have people who write their speeches for them. But they don't just hand them to them and they speak it to the public when they've never seen it or rehearsed it or approved it. You have to work close with these people, approve the speeches, and make sure there's something you're comfortable saying. So you're going to have to work very closely and cohesively with that. You also going to have to work close with the head of research and head of technology, because everything in this trial The lead speaker has to know exactly what's going on and when it's happening and be quick on their feet, because they cannot be caught off guard. At any point in time, the other team can object, and you've got to have your facts right. You've got to be on pace with your team. You've really got to be on your toes. And you've got to be aware of everything going on in your team very closely, very intimately, to be successful as this lead speaker. Okay, let's go to the next role, head of research. Everybody on your team will do research. You'll have to. Everyone on your whole team has to know the facts of your case. If you don't, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Everyone has to know what's going on and where you stand. But the head of research will take all the research. People will send that to them, and my recommendation is make a Google Doc. They will collect all that research in a Google Doc. They will put it in categories. They will organize it. And then on the day of the trial, they will be able to really quickly access that data anytime the speaker needs it. Even if the other team surprises the speaker with a argument that we're prepared for, they can quickly turn to the data manager, your head of research, and they should be able to quickly find the information because that's their job and they're well organized. Also, they will have to create a bibliography at the end of the research so I can make sure their sites are good sites, good sources. You want to make sure you're using reputable information so the judge does not throw it out of the court. And the judge has the right to do that if you're using information that's not strong enough. You're also going to work closely with the head of technology to make sure any visuals, any graphs, any pictures, any videos you use are lined up with your data and with your research, to make sure, once again, that it can't be thrown out of court, that it's backed by good research. So the head of research will have to work very closely with both the speaker and the head of technology. Next is the head of technology. The head of technology will work with the head of research. Like I said before, they're going to work together to make sure visuals are married properly with the research and they agree. During the trial, they will run the computer so they can project any images that your team needs during the trial. They're going to work very close with the speakers to coordinate. They've got to know when the speaker speaks about what topic, what visual do you want up there? Or maybe you don't want a visual up there for some topics. But they've got to be in tune with that, or it's really going to look sloppy and the jury's not going to like it. They also be responsible for research, especially in the early stages. Until your team has enough research to start creating visuals, you'll need to be gathering research yourself, funneling that to the research head before you start creating your visuals with the technology. Next is the head writer. Your head writer's main responsibility is to write that opening statement to the court and the closing argument to the jury. These are hugely important. When you think about watching Law and Order or any of the other great shows or movies that have to do with court cases, those opening arguments always are powerful and get the attention of the viewers, and those closing arguments always really pull on the jury strong and influence them, and a lot of trials are won right there. So as head writer, you're going to have to work closely with your speakers, make sure not only it's well written, but it's something that they feel comfortable speaking and that they feel strongly about as well, because they're the one trying to sell it to the jury. And the head writers have been picked especially because they have really good writing skills and they can do this. They'll also need to aid in research, especially in the initial parts of the trial, in the research stages until you get going better. They'll also need to help out in that research. And finally, your second speaker, or Miss Brooks Gordon used a more correct term yesterday. She called this person a co-counsel. This person will assist the lead speaker with presenting the argument. At different times, they will speak. That will be the strategy of their team as to when they speak. The second speaker, the co-counsel, may be an expert on certain topics, and those will be the topics that they would speak on specifically. But they're also going to be ready to take over any time, because if the lead speaker was to get frustrated somehow and lose their cool, or get, for whatever reason, just feel like they need to take a step away and take a break, they should be able to tag out with that second speaker, and the second speaker should be able to come right in and take right over where they left off. They should be exactly on the same page. Also, they should be like a co-manager and a co-facilitator behind the scenes while the speakers work and make sure everybody's on the same page, keeping everything going nice and smooth. And they've got to be able to do anything that the lead speaker does, and they've got to work with the lead speaker on everything they do in order so they can do that. So it's a very, very important role, the most flexible role, and it's one that that also could be kind of a wild card, so to speak, depending on how your team decides to use that second speaker and co-counsel. There'll be a little flexibility there. Okay, I hope this video has helped you understand what we're doing. I hope you understand our roles. I hope I've not spoken too quickly. I feel like I've talked very quickly and not even breathed, but hopefully I'll slow down enough you can understand. I want to thank Miss Brooks Gordon for being here. Thank you, Mr. Tommy Carpenter, for being here for me today. And I want to thank you guys because I know you're going to do a fantastic job. I've been proud of you all year. And I'm just expecting another great performance. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So without further ado, I give it to Miss Brooks Gordon, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.